I am vengeance. I am the night. I am. Alright, guys, welcome back. Today we're taking a look at the Mafex Night Crusader Batman. This is their version of the Knightfall Batman with the blue and grey color scheme. Uh, this package looked like it got attacked by Bane during shipping. Batman's back even came pre-broken, so it looks like he got him on the way. But nonetheless, the figure does look fine, jokes aside. Um, I did get this off of eBay from a Japanese seller. I will put the link to their listing. If you are interested, you can probably check it out. Just be advised, it does take quite a long time to reach. I ordered this on June 24th, and this got to me finally today. So be advised. But without further ado, let's take a closer look at Batman. First of all, starting with the packaging. You can see some nice promo shots of the figure there. Mafex, Batman, like this is number 215. More nice promo shots there. The legal information on the bottom in Japanese. This is a nice one on the side. And at the top, a little cutout. So, without further ado, let's unbox this and see what we get inside. Alright, so let's take a closer look at Batman. First of all, I think we'll start with his very awesome cape. There is wire. So that's one here, that's one here, one here, and one here. Really cool. But yeah, really decent cape. I'm not sure if I agree with the attachment method. It does seem kind of weird. But let's get closer in the details here. The head sculpt really nice. It does seem to have no shading whatsoever, at least under my light. I think I see something very slight on the cheek. But why the cheek and not the eyebrows? Any shading you see there is basically the light creating a natural shadow. There is no shading. Some shading on the face would have been a little bit nice too. The bat symbol is very clean, as opposed to some others I saw online. Actually, did a pretty good job on this one. And the paint is more or less very nice. There's very subtle shading. as you can see, like under the pecs and on the abs here, and some right here. Shading is extremely subtle. I kind of wish they went a little bit harder on the shading. These fins are rubbery. Oh, and the ears are also rubbery as well. Shading very slightly on the arms. And even on the blue parts there is some, shading on the blue parts, as you can see right there. Even on the knuckles. It's really hard to get the light to hit it in such a way that you can see it. On the trunks there are shading as well. Nothing on the belt though, but this yellow is extremely clean. This is a free floating piece as well, but it's attached at the back. On the back there is shading as well. They even shaded the bat crack. Behind the legs you see some shading there. And the boot itself has shading as well. I think it's a little bit more clearer on the boots than anywhere else. And even the soles of the feet there has shading below. Got some nice treads there. See a W there, maybe for Wayne Enterprises. One thing I'm really glad about on this figure is that they actually did sculpt the line which separates the blue from the grey. I know if it was Hasbro or somebody, they would have just painted this line. It's nice to actually have like that division there. It's not immediately obvious unless you run your hands over it. And even for the boots, you do feel that separation there. I do appreciate that. But yeah, the figure does look really, really nice. And so, next we'll take a look at his articulation. And then we'll take a look at his accessories. So let's go over the articulation on Batman. His head does look up about that far. Goes down about that far. Does have tilt. So you can get those diagonal up and diagonal down sort of poses. The shoulders are ball joint going into the torso, so you can get a rotation like that. It does also serve as butterfly movement, so you get a nice amount of range across the chest. Not so much back, but it's alright still. The shoulders do raise about that high, and they pretty much lay to his side very well. Does have a bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. His wrists are ball hinges, so you can get either vertical motion or, depending on how you orient it, can get horizontal motion as well. The torso, very, very gappy and ugly. So with the torso and with the waist joint, this is how far back you can go. Not sure how much you want to gonna be using this one, but you know, yeah, could have done better with that. But with crunch forward, it does get about that much. The hips are drop down, so it does lower down to about that much, and with that lowered you can kick forward a fair amount. With that lowered you can also kick out quite a bit as well. There is a thigh swivel, though it's not all the way. It goes more inward than outward. Does have double jointed knees. The ankles do kick forward about that far, back about that far. There is a rocker. There is a toe joint. The ankles are also on ball hinges, so you can orient it and swivel it as you need. And I don't know if this is intended articulation, but my knee also has a very minor movement in it, which is kind of useful. But yeah, he is decently articulated. And you know this isn't an official Ghost Figures TT review unless I completely forget to show you the range of side-to-side movement. And then after rush to film this while I'm editing. So let's take a closer look at the accessories. I'm gonna run through the hands a little bit quickly because he does come with quite a bit. He does come with a pair of fists in package. He does come with two splayed out hands. He does come with two open gesture hands. He does come with two karate chop hands. So if you wanted to recreate that Batman slapping Robin meme, there you go. He does come with two clenching fists that have a very slight gap in it, which we will take a closer look at when we get to the accessory this belongs to. And then he does come with these gripping hands, which almost look like trigger hands, but we'll see what those are for with the next accessory. So in Knightfall, Batman doesn't use a grapnel gun. Instead, he throws this and it hooks onto something, and then there's a rope at the end that he uses that to climb around and swing and stuff. So, as mentioned, these hands are made to slip the Batarang into, so you can have it like that. And as mentioned, this open gripping hand there, which has the very slight spaces for holding this wired rope, so you can actually get him into some sort of pose where he looks like he's throwing it out. So that's pretty sick. I'm sure photographers would have a field day with this. So you can get him in those poses where he looks like he's ready to throw it. So Batman does come with some additional head sculpts as well. He has this one, which is the angry face, but unfortunately long horns, which I don't particularly prefer. It does, however, look pretty decent if you're going for that sort of look. I kinda wish that the faceplates were swappable, so you could have that angry face on this short hairs head sculpt, but it is what it is. For the price that Mafex charges for these, they should have definitely done something like that, or at least given you a angry head with the shorter hairs. I think this is my preferred look. The longer hairs look a bit too goofy. It does look pretty cool on like gothic style artwork and stuff, but I don't know. But that might be some people's preferred look for him, so there you go. He does also come with an additional head sculpt with the rebreather for that couple of scenes he had in the comic where he was swimming through the sewers, I believe. So this is how he looks with that. He meant to take off this cape, and then he has an alternate neck piece, which plugs in like that, and then you put the head on like that. Pretty cool, but I rather get a angry head sculpt with the regular ears than this, to be quite honest. One of the cool things I like about this figure is that if this is not your preferred look for the character with the spiky tips, which it definitely isn't for me, you can just take it off, and they gave you a whole new cape without the spiky tips, which is very much appreciated because I don't like those spiky tips at all. And this one, if you look at the spiky tip one, they actually glued the cloth way too close to the tabs, so this one does not like the tabbing at the back. But there are two pegs there with enough clearance, and there's one tab in front. So you push that tab in, and then you slot those two pegs into the back, and that keeps the cape on very nicely. And the head sculpt, and that's my preferred look for Batman. And this is how you would look with the long hairs. And just for shits and giggles, this is how you look with the rebreather. And the last accessory comes with is a stand, which has a few configurations. You can use the articulated arm that fits in like that, and then there's a big claw option, which fits in like that, or you can use this small attachment, and there's a smaller claw which can plug in like this. That fits in like that. Or you can take the same claw, but there's a base with a crotch shoulder, so you get that sort of 3-pointed grip. One thing I will say about the stand, it's very, very loose, so definitely we'll have to tighten up those screws. But it's pretty functional. And then there's one more feature, I guess. If you don't like this crotch grabber, it does come with one pole, which you can put this on. So you can have an adjustable height grip if you don't want it too long and articulated. So yeah, pretty cool. So for measurement, he does stand about 6¼ to the top of his head and 6½ inches to the top of his ears. Here's how he looks next to McFarlane Knightfall Batman. If I can get him to stand. Stand or stand. So he looks next to Jada Toys M. Bison. So he looks next to Jada Toys Dalsim. I can get him to stand. So he actually is quite a bit taller than those. Looks next to Premium DNA Earthworm Jim. And everybody's having trouble standing today, yeah? So he looks next to Jada Toys Chester Cheetah. And so he looks next to Black Series Mando. And here's how he looks next to Marvel Legends Ant-Man. So I really wanted to showcase this mod a little bit. This is a mod I saw on Instagram first from a Instagram user named Miniplasticmultiverse. So I'll put a link to their Instagram page there. And they did a picture of this, a picture of this Batman using this mod, and man, it's fantastic. So definitely go across to Instagram and give them a follow. And then I followed a tutorial I saw on YouTube by All About Articulation. So I'll put a link to that video in the description as well. So you can go check it out if you're interested in doing this mod, or if you just want another review on this figure. So all in all, I would say this figure is really cool. There's a couple things I would nitpick about, and one of them would be the fact that they didn't give you an angry head sculpt on this style of head. Instead, if you want an angry head sculpt, you have to use the long ears version, which might not be everybody's cup of tea, mine included. So hopefully one day a third party will create a head for this figure that does have that angry head sculpt. Another thing I should mention is that on the thigh area, you can actually see blue paint being transferred across from this crotch piece, just a little bit in front, but the leg seems to be grey, so I assume that is paint transferred from the blue crotch piece onto there. Something else I noticed is that you need to be very careful with those drop downs, because as you can see, there is an actual, if I could point it out right there, an actual stress mark developing, and this is on both sides actually. So I guess for those who aren't familiar with Mafex, try to be very careful and don't force those joints too much, because that could end up breaking, and you don't want to break an expensive figure. But other than that, another thing I would warn about, this one was my doing. I articulated the ankle too much and it scraped up against the shin there, and that scraped off some paint. So just be careful when you're articulating the figure not to go too extreme. You don't want to scrape the paint. Other than that, figure really is very nice. Very happy I purchased this. I actually, as mentioned, got this from an eBay seller. So I'll put their information in the description. And it is indeed official. So, hope the video is informative. And until next time, y'all take care.